Using a table saw correctly is not easy at all. Here are some of the most common mistakes. To make fast, repeatable cuts of narrow pieces of the same width, many set the diameter they want between the blade and the fence, such as, for example, when they make cutting board pieces to glue up. This is very dangerous because it increases the risk of kickback. An alternative and safer way of making these cuts is to place the wood you're cutting between the fence and the blade and lock the fence. Then, place the piece you're trying to reproduce between the fence and the piece you're cutting. Remove the piece you're reproducing and then move the fence towards the piece you're cutting and lock the fence. Using this technique, you can make safer, repeatable cuts of the same width. And friends, before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you. Not regulating the blade's height to the material's depth is another common mistake. Cutting with the blade at full height first increases the risk of injury if your hand or arm come into contact with the spinning blade. In addition, with the blade lower, this arguably results in a better quality cut as more blade and more teeth are doing the cutting. For example, cutting this piece of maple, with the blade completely elevated, only about 1 inch of blade does the cutting on each side. But if you lower the blade, more teeth are used, resulting in about 1.5 inches of blade on each side, which is a 50% increase. Another thing to avoid is using an underpowered table saw, because, practically speaking, it will allow you to cut only small pieces of plywood and soft wood like pine, and will likely jam if you try to cut hardwood. In addition, an underpowered saw will increase the risk of kickback. For example, this small tabletop saw may be convenient because it is small, but it uses only a small 8¼ inch blade and it only has 1500 watts. Getting a more powerful table saw such as this one will cost you a little more, but it will come with 1800 watts and a bigger 10-inch blade. I love my DeWalt table saw, and while it is considerably more expensive, it has 2000 watts and a big 32.5-inch rip capacity, which is great while working with plywood. Not making sure that the blade and fence are perfectly parallel to each other is another bad mistake. An easy way of checking for square is to move the fence towards the channel on the tabletop and make sure it is perfectly parallel to the fence. You can then use a square to check that both the blade and the fence are perfectly at 90 degrees. Using the wrong kind of blade is another common mistake. Changing table saw blades is easy and quick. I'm using here a high quality ripping blade with 24 teeth. And this that you can see here is a similar product. For finish work, if you use the saw to cut a lot of plywood for cabinetry, I suggest that you use a 60 or 80 tooth finish blade. And if you don't want to have to deal with changing blades, you can use a general purpose blade with 40 teeth, such as this one here, that won't be great at anything, but good at everything. Cutting without adequate support is another dangerous mistake and will result in low quality cuts as well. Using a circular saw is usually better, but if you make this type of cuts, always make sure to use the extra support that is available on most table fences. In addition, when ripping long pieces of wood, always make sure to have adequate support on the exit side, such as having another person help you or using an outfit table or a roller stand such as this one. Finally, another serious mistake is removing the riving knife. This is a vital safety device because it ensures that the two pieces on the exit side of the cut don't pinch the blade, causing kickback. I personally also like to use the blade cover, which not only has an integrated riving knife, but also has anti-kickback spikes and covers the entire blade, minimizing the risk of my hand and arm coming into contact with the blade. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if that was the case, I think you will enjoy my video in link above on the most common mistakes made using a circular saw. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you have not already done so.